You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to the Black by the Man radio show with your boy, Brother Mike. I will be your host. And as usual, I'm here with my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice.
Hi, hi.
How you doing today, Miss Janice?
Very good.
So we want to welcome everybody to today's show. Today's show is going to be one of our favorites. It's one of the universal laws. So today we're going to go over the law of compensation. The law of compensation, right?
Compensation meaning?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. So, meanwhile, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and let's get our plugs in. So make sure you guys check out blackbytheman.com and check out the latest apparel from the Black by the Man family. And also, if you'd love to be a part of our crowdfunding to help us fuel this engine we try to keep going, you can become a patron at patreon.com/brothermikebbd. You can donate as little as $1 per month, and we would definitely be grateful and appreciate your help. So make sure you check those things out and be a part of the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a part of this movement.
Yeah, especially with, everyone is about to kick off the holiday season.
It's time for
remind
some BBD
people
apparel.
to, shop black.
That's right. Shop black. Shop black. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send out some invites so I can get you guys hanging out with me today. We're going to have an awesome show. Meanwhile, I'll turn it over to the lovely Miss Janice. You got some current events for us? Anything worthy of talking about going on today?
Worthy of talking about. First, before we hit current events, let me talk about my weekend.
All right, tell me about your weekend.
I did my first grandchild's baby shower this weekend.
Congratulations.
So it was an awesome day. Awesome event, and I was just happy, to see family. I haven't seen my family in a while, so just to
that's always nice.
See family and my beautiful daughter about to have my first grandchild.
Congratulations.
It was just wonderful. The whole experience was just great, and I'm just excited, and I just can't wait. So
nice. Yeah, it sounds
just
like
want to send out a shout out to Erica and Stanley today, and it was a lovely, lovely day.
Very nice. So. Shout out to Erica and Stanley. Very nice, very nice. Well, my weekend was just, a typical weekend. I attended an event also that was also a great time, but I like yours a little better. So
yeah, mine was great.
Yeah,
mine was great.
and
also, shout out to everybody, who made the trip, because it was out of town, so they had to travel a little bit for the event. So, just shout out, my entire family showed up. So
nice.
Shout out to my family.
Nice.
But anyway, current events. We have one upset mom in Alabama today.
What happened?
Her 7-year-old, attends one of the schools in Birmingham. So the drama teacher, I guess they was doing this whole some type of skit on stage or something. So the kids were getting paint on their face or hands, but he painted a bullet hole in her son's forehead. So do you think the mom, overreacted with her being upset about it? Or, because remember, they sent out permission slips for you to sign whether or not your kids, can have makeup during this drama class.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it's never on the slip, that they will be painting bullet holes, on your 7-year-old's forehead.
Right. I'm sure they left that small detail out.
But, is this just something we should pay more attention to now when permission slips comes home for us to sign? Maybe we should.
Evidently, if we ain't never paid attention before, I think that alone is a red flag that we should. I mean, they painted, like when you say they painted a bullet hole on his head, like the way a wound would look.
Exactly, like the way a wound would look. And the mom said, if you saw it in person, it looked real.
So what type of psychological damage can that be causing to a child to be painting a bullet wound on their head, let alone a black child? Where within a lot of our communities, even within some of the cities, we deal with a lot of crime against each other.
Yeah, well,
that just seems like a horrible ideal.
The school did send out a statement and said, the student was participating in the theater class unit on stage. And they said when he chose the face. So.
Okay. So I see the angle that this is being approached. Okay, I do get if you're participating in, drama, right? But it still should have been a sense of judgment on the behalf of whoever the instructor was. Like, you know what? It's drama, and but I just don't think this would be in good taste for us to paint a bullet wound on a little black child's head. Or any child, for that matter. You shouldn't even be.
That's true.
What are you doing where you're having a play that's showing children being hurt?
Exactly.
I'm confused.
And I still had a problem with how the school responded, because in the statement they did say the students were asked if they would like the makeup on their hands or faces, and the student chose his face, they said, and the students are never forced to participate, and they have the option to skip the design, almost as if they're placing the blame on the 7-year-old, like
that's
he don't have
what
to
it
get
sounds
it.
like.
But if you're a second grader and you're in the class with a lot of other second graders, and they're all getting their face or hands painted, like, why wouldn't a 7-year-old want to participate and have his hand or face painted as well?
Yeah, I agree, especially when as children they are taught to participate. You know what I mean? To participate and be a part of it. So, he doesn't know to make the judgment that this wouldn't be good for, his mind, his appearance, his, for the other students to get to see it as well. Like, it's sad, but it does sound like they are placing the blame on the child.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising.
The child and the child's mom. The child's mom signed the permission slip, and the child, wanted the makeup done. So it's kind of like they're not really. It's like they're addressing it, but not really accepting no accountability in it. It just still, is left with the parent and the child. The blame is kind of look like it's put there, and that's sickening.
That is very sick. So I guess the lesson we could take from this, because thank God this is just a play, and the little boy's really not hurt, so forth and so on. But for parents, you may want to pay more attention to what you're signing with these permission slips, because you could be signing your child up for something that later on you could end up, not being happy with, because that's crazy. I mean, if they was to put that in the permission slip, I'm sure it'd be a lot of parents that wouldn't sign it. Like, oh, by the way, we might paint him as a dead person with a bullet in their head. That's not cool. Not cool. So we got to pay attention more to that.
Yeah, and then with this being said, like, where and when do this all stop? Because even going into my next topic on current event, with the whole execution of Rodney Reed, with them having enough evidence to know that pretty much he didn't commit this crime, but he still is set for execution on November the 20th.
Wow. See, that goes to show you that there's no love out here for you. He has evidence, well, not him, but evidently his lawyers, have evidence that can prove that it's impossible for him to have been the person who committed this crime, but yet they're going to move forward with having this man terminated. Anyway, it just goes to show you how much pride is involved when people just don't want to admit they've made a mistake. Like, there are people who would rather kill you than to say, you know what, we messed up, maybe it wasn't him.
Yeah, there are forensic experts right now that says his guilt is medically and scientifically impossible.
Wow.
So, with that being said, he's still set to be executed on November the 20th.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
So, imagine that.
That's insanity. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for his family. But again, maybe we can, use all this as wake-up calls, to the reality of what a lot of us deal with every day in America. This is just the black way for Americans. You know what I mean? Like, our lives are not valued. Black lives do matter, but not in this system. Not in this system.
They do, and it's just so sad, because even over the weekend when I was reading the topic on the last, I was pretty much looking for, as far as women being killed by the police. So I was reading like the last 20, black women that were killed by police, and I was reading like how they lost their lives, and the whole thing just makes me ill.
Yes, I definitely feel you on that. It definitely makes you ill.
And it's just as you go over these things and then see the little 7-year-old with the bullet hole, like, we're out here living real life. This is real life.
And black children are often
Things
caught
that
in
is
the
happening
crossfire,
to
right.
us. So to, just not be sensible enough to paint a bullet hole on this young 7-year-old black child's forehead.
Right. Like, what
that
were you
alone.
thinking?
That was just, and there's no way you couldn't tell me that you wasn't thinking. Like, you're an adult, you're a teacher. You understand and you know what's going on today in society.
Right.
Like, in your mind, still, where would you, because he didn't, he still say that he didn't see anything, wrong with it.
Right.
So where in your mind do you not see nothing wrong with it?
It's sad. It's sad. It goes to show you that we have some sociopaths that are in office, that hold high positions like judges and prosecutors, and they have no value for black life whatsoever. That's just reality. And, I don't know what the ultimate answer is, but we at least got to give attention to it, here on the Black by the Man radio show. And just real sorry that his family has to face that reality, that these people are still going to execute him, even though they know that it really wasn't him.
And I still like to, shout out all the celebrities, that are using their social media and, their power to help get that story out too, with the execution of Rodney Reed, to just help bring awareness to it however you can.
Right.
And, they did sign the petition of, stopping the execution as well. So there are a lot of celebrities out here that's trying to fight for him as well.
Wow. Very sad, very sad. Okay. Anything that might lift my spirits?
Anything that might lift your spirits.
Hold that thought. Engineer, just let us know. We up on break. So we're going to take our first break. Stay tuned with us. It's the Black by the Man radio show. Today we are talking one of the 12 universal laws. We are talking the law of compensation. This should be interesting. It's the BBD radio show, y'all. We'll be back.
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
Period.
the real.
You right.
That's the real deal.
It's period.
You right.
And all that old money shouldn't go toward this. Money should go to if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week. You don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. You feel alone even though the people surround you. Popping pills every night even though you know they can't solve it. The emotional pain, it just seems way too heavy. Your mind is racing, wanna scream, somebody help me. Ooh, hears you. Yes, God loves you. These type of people sit right under our noses. We don't find out till we're on IG scrolling. We post a few memes, but then it keeps on happening. Something's gotta change, we gotta start talking and telling the truth without the fear of judgment. Gotta come together and really start loving and heal these people.
Now listen to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black by the Man radio show with your boy, Brother Mike, along with the lovely Miss Janice. All right, so we're going to get into today's show. So today's show is going to be the law of compensation. For those who are familiar with the BBD radio show, you know we like to go over universal laws because I think they're so important. A lot of us are not aware of them, or we may be aware of them, but we may not know the exact in and outs about them.
Yes.
You know, so I love going over them. It also serves as checks and balances for myself as well. You know, refreshes me on, you know, these laws and stuff, and, you know, helps me keep my act together. So hopefully it'll help y'all keep y'all act together too, because we all have to keep learning. That's what this is all about. It's all about evolving and learning so we can do better at this thing that we call life.
Okay.
All right? So let's get into it a little something. All right, so what is the law of compensation? Okay, it's one of the 12 universal laws that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put out into the universe. This law is basically the law of cause and effect. So that's what the law of compensation is right off the bat. You know, this is the law that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put into the universe, also known as the cause and effect law. When we talk about compensation, many people assume we are talking about money or monetary rewards. Though these things are compensation, they are not the only form of compensation. We are talking about any blessing given to us in return for our deeds, our thoughts, our words, and our feelings. So that ought to help give a little clarity to what you were saying, you know, like what exactly is this? Does it deal with just money? So no, it doesn't deal with just money. This goes into your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. So this is very powerful, you know, because this is going into understanding that it's not just your actions, right?
Yes.
It's also your actual thoughts. Because again, I'll try to break this down, you know, in feelings as well, right?
Yes.
So this is my interpretation of how the universe works. If you think about a radio station, right? So when you listen to a radio station inside your car, the car antenna is picking up the frequency that is being put in the air from the radio station, wherever it's at, 7 states over, right? So that frequency rides along the air vibrations, finds your antenna in your car, does it very quickly. The sound comes through your speakers, right? So, but there's not actual sound in the air. No one outside can hear that sound traveling. So it's frequencies, right? This frequency is projecting and this frequency is picking it up. All right, so it's the same with the universe. Imagine you as a human, you have an antenna.
Yes.
Okay, the things that come out your mouth, the thoughts that go in your head, the actions that you do, send a frequency signal into the universe. The universe does not distinguish between good, bad, ugly, right, wrong. It simply receives your frequency and returns something back to you.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it works with universal law. So this is why even with the law of compensation, they are focusing on letting you know it's not just a monetary thing.
Right.
You get what I mean? It's
Yes.
not just your actions. It's also your words and your thoughts.
Right.
So that brings in a whole new ball game of learning how to control words and thoughts, which is challenging.
It is. It's very challenging, and especially with the thoughts. Like,
Yes.
you know, your mind get to wandering off, and you know, them thoughts get to going, and you thinking of all kinds of crazy stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have to control the thoughts. So I guess where I'm making the connection is how you think your actions, and even your feelings plays a part even with monetary. Because like I said, it's not strictly monetary, but monetary is a part of it because it is the word compensation. So monetary is the immediate thing I think most of us think about when we think about compensation. You know what I mean? So basically, your thought process can be messing your money up.
I agree.
Come on with me.
I agree. I watch this go both ways. I watch people have a very positive mindset when it comes to money, and I watch people have a very negative mindset when it comes to money.
Okay.
And I also watch those same people who have that positive mindset. I watch them also somehow, some way get money.
Right.
Money tends to come to them by some source, but they get it.
They get it. Okay, so I'll read on. These compensations can come in the form of money, like we're talking, material possessions, friendships, relationships, experiences, and a wealth of other things. It all depends on what you expect to receive for any given deed or task you perform. All of these things come to you in proportion to the deed as you perform, the thoughts you have, the feelings you have, and that which you put out into the universe. So that's essentially what I just, explained. But that is very, very powerful because if you could imagine if we were conscious of that every day with everything that we did, it may change the way we approach a lot of situations.
Not it may, it will.
Without a doubt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt. So yeah, this even deals with material possession, friendships, and relationships and experiences. So let's talk about friendships and relationships. So this would go back to something I had mentioned before. And again, let me lay out my disclaimer for everybody, right? I bring forth what I believe is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I was taught or that I learned. It does not in any way, shape, or form mean I am the master of it. Because I'm not, right? I'm a work in progress like everybody else. But what I have mastered is the understanding that what we feed our mind is what we become. So that I've mastered that just in the understanding of it, right? So with that understanding, I try to control what I feed my mind. You get what I mean? So that part I'm pretty good at. But it doesn't mean, that I'm no way of shape or form a master of these things that we bring forward. So when it comes to friendships and relationships, like this mentioned, the law of compensation plays a part in that as well. You think about the people who, you love that are not good friends. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And how we deal with it can play a major part of how it goes forward, right? So it's what I've mentioned on other shows before, like you be the change that you want to see.
Yes, absolutely.
You get what I mean? Like, like often when people do us wrong, we may not react to it the way we wanted to, and then kind of later on we end up regretting the way we reacted. So I'm learning to, take the high road and kind of be the change that I want to see. And I think under the law of compensation, if you can do that, then that will help to better your friendships and relationships. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's a post that I used to see on Instagram and on Facebook. I always thought it was funny, but it's a meme that says, there are people still walking around mad at me for what they did to me. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people hit the like button on that post and they related to it because that is that is so true. So you have to be the change that you want to see within friendships and relationships. Now that change may not necessarily change the people that you had the bad relationship with, but at least going forward it will dictate the next friendships and relationships. All right, so on that note, we up on another break. Stay with us. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We'll be back. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Nice.
White keys only have this bitch jumping.
Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Rebel rap. Let's do it.
If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Work them old, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. If you play it for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. How I'm alive, I thank God for that. Praying about it, things getting better. Open it up with my name on the letter. Why you crazy about it? Saying whatever, you shy to be you. You know you gotta be you. Sometimes I need privacy too. Yeah, you know I ride. You know I ride, and you know you ride for me too. Yeah, you know I. Look, you like getting that hit for real. When it's me and Murray, just us, we chill. I'm in a rush to get off to get you. Never ever had to floss to get you. Pay the dues that it cost to kiss you. Rug burns on the carpet with you.
Oh yeah. Come on, dog, throw this in there. Had to dedicate this to the homie out of New Orleans. Break. Said she wanna bump that. You wanna do it? Go ahead, do it.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
So they said she wouldn't so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do, and you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene, they are purposely trying to say and do things to you to get your emotions up, right? And then once they get your emotions up, then it's like, oh, that's what we needed. Now we're going to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. You know, so I'm saying we need to have these discussions with our children, you know, and make them understand in this day and age, and it's every day and age really, but we'll just say this day and age for the sake of it being so prevalent on social media, like you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think a lot of us as black people are just scared to still tell our children that there are a group of people out here that are your enemies.
Join us every Monday at 12 noon for Black by Demand radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show with your boy, Brother Mike, and my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice. So today we are talking the law of compensation, which is one of the 12 universal laws. So in case you missed it at the top of the show, I'm going to read it for you again. Okay, what is the law of compensation? It's one of the 12 universal laws that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put out into the universe. This law is basically the law of cause and effect. So there it is, the law of cause and effect. Doesn't deal with just monetary. Right. It deals with friendships, relationships, so forth and so on, right? So like, I'll give you an example. Just recently, I was having a discussion with a family member about the actions of another family member, right? Right. And of course, I'm not going to go down the road of what exactly it was, but the bottom line is the conversation I was having was that at a certain age, you should have grown and reached a level where you understand at a minimum that, you know, you get back what you put out. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, why would you want to be in a state of mind where you continue to put out or do things that you know is not right? It's crooked, it's backstabbing, it's petty. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So me and the family member was having that discussion, and I was explaining how, you know, when people, you know, act this way, I don't react to it at all. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel sorry for you that you've reached a certain age and you still haven't let go of being petty. You know what I mean? And doing stuff to purposely think you're going to hurt another person or bring malice into another person's life. Like, what is going on where people are at mature ages, but they still want to participate in nonsense? Do you get what I'm saying? Be negative, you know, just you know what people do. You get what I mean? And it just seems like at certain ages you should have learned that by now, because life issues all of us lessons, and the goal is to try to learn from the life lessons. And I still see people of very mature ages doing things that shows they haven't learned the lessons in life that life has taught them. Now the thing is, and this is where it gets tricky, these type of people never make the connection between their behavior and their actual life. Okay, so you got their behavior on this hand, and then you have their actual life on this hand.
Right.
And they're really not happy about their life. But they never once made the connection that it could be, according to the law of compensation, based on your behavior. Your behavior is why things don't go right over here on your life. You get what I'm saying? So I'm still astonished to see people at certain ages that have not grasped that yet. I'm not saying they have to be masters of it, but you should at least be at an age where you don't want to participate in negative energy. And too many people are very much willing to not only participate in negative energy, but be the producer of that energy. And that just leaves me confused, because I don't want that coming back to me. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And life isn't always fair. So let's say we take a scale of 1 to 10 on negative energy, and say that person issues out a 3 on the scale. It doesn't mean the universe ain't gonna send you back a 7.
Hey.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. And I totally agree with all of it. Which, even while you're saying that, I'm sitting over here thinking, like, that's why, could that be the law of compensation for a lot of people? Because you have to remember, a lot of people, as you were saying, like, spent their whole life doing crazy stuff, putting out, certain, acting certain way with certain behaviors and things like that.
Right.
Where it comes a time where this is all they're ever going to get back, because this is all they ever gave.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, for a person, I'm just saying, for a person coming up, say they like 50 now. Say the person is at a milestone age of like 50, and this is all they have ever done.
Right.
Like, why at 50 would it be different?
True. I just would think you would have learned some things. I just think, you know, at 40, even at 30, you know, like each decade, you're supposed to take the experiences from the previous decade and then try to make adjustments. You know what I mean? Like, I watch people, you know, go year after year, and they're kind of sort of still the same people. You know, they do the same things, and you know, you're going to keep getting the same results. Like, you got to learn the law of compensation, which deals with you getting back what you put out, and it applies to friendships and relationships. It applies to family. You know, like, if you treat your dog bad, that's going to come back somewhere in your life. You get what I mean? Like, and people really don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen people spend a lot of energy still being on some negative energy, backsliding. You know, I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, or that person owes me from this, that, and the third. And it's like everybody's scared to just be the bigger person.
Well, I'm just so happy we're doing this show today, because
Me too.
there are a lot of people who, you know, haven't evolved, who needs to evolve, and then there are plenty of people who probably would love to evolve, but just can't seem to get over that hump.
Yeah.
That they need to get over to evolve. So I'm just so happy we're doing this show, so we can kind of put in people's head, you know, some necessary changes that they could make to help them get them over that hump, so that they can evolve.
Yeah, see,
and get better
when
results.
I come across these kind of individuals, it always goes through my mind that they're just really not happy in life. You get what I mean? Because these are just not the actions of happy people. Happy people try to produce happy outcomes.
Yes.
Even in the midst, like, I've apologized to people before for situations that we had, and I wasn't in the wrong. You get what I'm saying? But I did it for a couple of reasons. One, I tend to leave space for people's egos.
Yes.
Right? You know, people's egos need to be stroked. They need to be fed, right?
Yes.
And then number two, I learned this a long time ago. When it comes to family and friends, they are willing to throw the whole damn relationship out the window because they don't want to apologize to you. You know what I'm saying? They're willing not to talk to you for the next decade. Also, they didn't have to man up or woman up and say to you, hey, you know what? Apologize for what I did. I was in a certain state of mind at that time. I'm not proud of it. I love you, so forth and so on. No, they would rather do 10 years of silence before they do that. And to me, it's just the craziest thing ever, you know, because it's not affecting the person they're doing it to as much as they think. It's affecting you in your life more than anything.
Exactly.
Law of compensation.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, you took the words like right out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I wanted to say the whole time. Like, I want people to realize the whole time that you are out here trying to hurt somebody else, and you know,
or just be a smart ass,
or hurt somebody else's feelings. The only person you're hurting is yourself.
Yes.
Because law of compensation, these are the things that you're putting into the universe while you're doing this. So these are things you're going to get back out.
Right.
So you're not hurting that person. The person that you are hurting is you.
Yes.
So I just want people to realize that too, because you wonder why you keep going in life, why you can't get the things that you want. Even though a lot of people, you know, settle for the miserable life that they've been dealt. A lot of people settle for that, and at that point, just they're set to make everybody's lives. They come in contact with miserable.
I like trying to put this information out so people can understand how much control they have
And
over their life.
understand that they can change it.
Right,
still.
that's what I mean. That's part of the control. You know,
Yes.
you know, God allows U-turns. For some people, it's not their behavior because they act this way, right? You know, the right way is what I'm saying. It ain't because they know about the law of compensation. For some people, it's just the fear of God. You know what I mean? Some people walk around with a consciousness of the Most High God that is so deep, they know that there's an eye on them, right?
Yes.
You know, somebody's taking notes and watching what you're doing. Nothing you do is going unseen. Just know that. You know what I mean? So that alone keeps them in check. And it's not to say that they don't make mistakes, but when they make mistakes, they also take steps to kind of try to correct the mistakes. And, you know, those people tend to get more quality value out of their life. You get what I'm saying? And then again, going back to everybody reaching a certain age, it's so many sick people out here. There's so much death in the air these days. I just can't comprehend, and I know I'm biased because I know certain things.
Yes.
How someone would even want to entertain spending their time on such negative things. Like, people may not even be here the next day. I swear every week on Facebook, it's like 2-3 people that have passed. You know, it's very, very saddening, right? And so to look at that, and then if I was to think to myself that I got some pettiness going on with somebody I'm supposed to be close to, right?
Yes.
That means I'm really not appreciating life for what it really is, because I'm holding on to this pettiness. They're holding on to this pettiness, and one of us could disappear the next day.
Right.
It's just insanity to me, you know? So this is why I like to do these type of shows, to kind of bring this to the forefront. Like, listen, life is short, and learn from the lessons that life dishes us. We all get them.
Yeah.
We all get life lessons. And one of the ones I think you should learn by a certain age of maturity, is that you get back what you put out.
Yes.
So whether you want to call it karma, you know, the law of compensation, or God, either way, it's the same results. You get back what you put out. So, you know, if you put out a certain negative energy and negative vibe, like, it's going to show through your life, you know, even if that person pretends like they're living such a good life, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I got this, I got that, I do this, I do that. That doesn't mean that they're a happy person. What it means is, you know, they are great at hiding, you know, what maybe really, you know, they're feeling, you know, deep inside. So I particularly don't get it. So I enjoyed the conversation I had with the family member, though, and enjoyed giving my perspective. Like, you know, I'm not going to be like that, you know, because I don't want that stuff being returned into my life.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm trying to put out good. I'm not perfect, but I'm saying when I screw up, at least if someone can make me see that I screwed up, I'm going to take steps to correct that. You know what I
Yes.
mean? To get that repaired so I can move forward. Even if the person feels like they still don't want to deal with you, hey, at least you did your part and said, I'm sorry for whatever I did or didn't do, or whatever you think I've done. Hey, I'm sorry for what you did to me. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And then you kind of keep it moving so you can continue to get, certain blessings, for lack of a better word, coming into your life. You got to be the change that you want to see.
All I know is I love doing these shows. I guess because I'm a very happy person, and it just reminds me that I am on the right track.
Yes, we got to check ourselves.
So,
all right. So how does the law of compensation work? Okay, you give what you have, you be what you want to see, and those things will come back to you. Let me read that again. Read that again, nice and slow. Give what you have, be what you want to see, and those things will come back to you. All
nice.
right. This does not mean that if you are broke, you should hand out all of your money. What it means is you should be generous in whatever way is within your means. When we are generous and proactive, it allows more abundance and opportunities to flow into our lives. When we are stingy and afraid of losing everything, we tend to attract more debt and hardship because that is where we are directing our energy. You have to consciously and as often as possible be what you want to experience. It's simple, but very complex to understand and implement on a deeply spiritual level. If you expect something for nothing, then you are violating this law. All right, let's talk about this.
I agree. If you're going to keep anything in life, and if you're going to take anything away from law of compensation, then one thing you should take away is you should never be afraid of losing anything, because you're going to lose everything.
Right.
If you take any of law of compensation into heart, never be afraid of losing anything.
Yeah, well, evidently that must be one of the fears, because they clearly mention when you are stingy and afraid of losing everything, you tend to attract more debt and hardship, because this is where we're directing our energy. So does that mean if we know of someone, or even if it's ourselves, who are, tend to attract debt and hardship, can this law kind of be a reference to what their behavior might be like? Okay. Yeah, I think that might point to something as well, because it also goes back to the law of attraction. That's the neat thing about the universal laws. They're all connected one way or another. You know what I mean? They're all connected one way or another. So you can see how that would be connected into the law of attraction, because your vibe is bringing in more negative vibes.
Yes.
But we up on another break. Stay with us. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We are talking the law of compensation. We'll be back after this break.
Listen to this flashback of Skyline Radio Show.
So where we at? Where we talk about the effects and what's going on in these schools? And what people don't understand. Just real briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what people say bullying is or is not. So bullying comes in many forms. It's a teasing, it's the cyberbullying, it's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the posting of pictures and people's personal information to pretty much cause them harm, to have them feel insecure. It's the sex assaults that people actually put out there. They're physical assaults, and there are mental assaults and emotional assaults. And what I like to remind individuals that any aggressive behavior towards anyone that is unwanted and unwarranted, and an individual asks you to stop. Let's stop there. Stop.
And they should be respecting that.
Respecting that and respecting yourself, because when you're able to respect another person, you're able to respect yourself. Right. And the way that you're able to show that respect is that you know that you have a gift, and you know you're uniquely made and that you matter, and then you also acknowledge that the next person beside you matters as well.
Right.
You know, and we lose that sometimes. Bullying is a behavior that underestimates.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. Today we are talking the law of compensation. I want to read a comment here. This is from Mr. Gary Brown. He says, I agree. I know for myself, I've had ups and downs in my life due to my attitude when thinking, feelings, and bad speech. But when thinking positive, serving others, following God, being aware of myself and others, I see positive results. Exactly. Get a bell for that, my brother. Exactly. That's what it's all about, you know, living and learning. And he basically just said exactly what I was explaining earlier. He learned from the life lessons. Life gives us all lessons we're supposed to learn.
Yes.
If we don't learn from it, life will keep repeating the lessons to you. And sometimes it'll make it harsher and harsher. You get what I'm saying? So without putting it to words of it being the law of compensation, he still understood that when he changed his speech, his feelings, the way he viewed things, it then changed things that was happening in his life. As they said, when we are generous and proactive, it allows more abundance and opportunities to flow into our lives. So when you're looking at people who may be doing what you want to do or achieving the things that you want to achieve, it's not always about, like, yes, they put the work in, you know, as far as their education, training, so forth and so on, or hours at work. Yes, they did all that, but everybody does that in one way, shape, or form. But they don't always get the results that they want. So I think one of the areas we're not looking at is who that person is. What else are they doing that is getting them those results? They may be positive. They may be helpful. They may be charitable. They may be trying to practice to be the change that they want to see. I try to be the change that I want to see. I'm growing like everybody else, but it has definitely changed my attitude in life and the way I see life. And then, like it said, when you're generous and proactive, you open the doors for abundance to come in. And, you know, I think some of us are closing the doors, not understanding how much control we actually have.
Absolutely. I agree. If you want something, put it out there. Put it out there in the universe, the things that you want. Like you said, be charitable.
Right. Go give it to someone else.
Yes. And those things that come back.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, whatever you put out, those are the things you get back.
If you want money, give some money. Right? Give some money. If that's what you want coming into your life, you need to be given.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? Because that's what you'll send into the universe. You're giving money, and the universe is going to send back somebody giving you money.
So with that being said, if you want money, give money. Great opportunity to donate to the BBD.
Absolutely. You can donate to Black by Demand at any time through PayPal at Black by Demand, the number 4 and the letter U at Gmail. So that's Black by Demand 4U at Gmail. And you can become a patron at patreon.com/Brother Mike BBD. We definitely love any help that we can get because, again, we are not funded by superpowers or anything. We kind of take care of this ourselves, but we believe in the message we are trying to bring to the community and share, you know, certain conversations that, you know, benefits everybody, benefits us and everybody else who listens.
And thank you for saying that, because when I said donate to BBD, that's what I meant. Sign up for the Patreon.
Patreon. Yeah, it's actually 2 ways you can do it. You can become a patron, patreon.com/Brother Mike BBD, or if you just want to donate to Black by Demand, you can do that through PayPal at Black by Demand, the number 4, letter U at gmail.com. That's Black by Demand 4U at Gmail.
And remember, you get back what you put out.
You get back what you put out. Exactly. So we've been putting out great information for the past 2 years, and we got a great audience. We have an audience of people who like to learn and like to listen and like to evolve and like to grow. We really don't draw draw in trolls. Like we really haven't had trolls on the BBD radio show. And a lot of people do. And it's not to say we can't ever get any, but at this point we haven't drawn any of that in. So even that isn't a testament to we was putting out positive information, and you know, we kind of got an audience that's on that same time.
Yes, and shout out to our followers too. A lot of our followers, when they know we're going to be at a certain event or somewhere, you know, you show up to support us. We appreciate that too. We thank all our supporters for BBD.
Absolutely. I will take time out right now and just give a shout out to some of the audience members that I see here. So shout out and big thank you to Miss Crystal Richardson, Cheryl Taborn, Gary Brown, Dwayne Harrison, Opel Bird, Nicole Majorie, Tina Marie Bell, Michael Miner, Andre Liggins, Nancy Coleman Jones, Barry Dyson. Thank everybody for tuning in with us and giving us a minute to spit this in your ear, a little something.
Yes.
You know, I appreciate it. It is much appreciated. All right, so now that we kind of get an understanding of how the law of compensation works, right? I'm going to go over some ways to increase your returns. Okay. Right? Because that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, you know, you're putting out and what you're trying to get in return. Now, I think the goal is also this. It's not to say, you know, do this in a malicious manner. And what I mean is don't just like purposely, I'm going to put out good and that way I get back good. You're not really supposed to go into it thinking what you're going to receive.
Yes,
you go into it wanting to be better. You're just wanting to say, you know, you're going to put out good. And then let the universe decide how you're going to get that back, or God himself, right? So I'll give a few ways. We got 5 ways you can increase your returns. All right, so number 1, don't spend your time thinking about lack, scarcity, and what you don't have. That's important. Instead, spend your time thinking about what you have that you are thankful for. Look at your life and take pleasure in what you already have. Good friends, your home, your work, or family. Whatever your life is like, whatever you're going through, there is something to be thankful for. Focus on that. By focusing on the good you attract, and more good will come into your life. So that one is pretty self-explanatory. Easier said than done.
Yes.
Especially the part about don't spend your time thinking about lack or scarcity. I think we're in a society that kind of trains you that way. We're consistently looking at what we don't have instead of appreciating what we actually have. So again, I don't pretend to be the master of that. You know what I mean? Because like, I look at what I don't got just like everybody else, you know. But again, these type of shows helps for me to check myself, because I think you should do self-evaluations at least once a year. I think at least once a year you should do a self-evaluation. It's going to come anyway. It is. It's when they say happy birthday.
I think every quarter you should do a self-evaluation.
We do it anyway when they say happy birthday. You are going to think about your life, where you're at, what you done, what you didn't do, what you wish you could have did, so forth and so on. So yeah, don't spend your time thinking about the lack and scarcity, what you don't have. Spend your time thinking about what you do have. And that makes a lot of sense. And the biggest part of that is being thankful for it. So stay with us on that note. We up on our next break, and I'm going to finish this one as soon as we come back, and let's talk about it. It's the BBD Radio Show, y'all. We'll be back.
First they love you, then desert you, leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste, I've been bad, burned, then fucked over. But remain strong through the Passover. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me that let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I beat the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save you, it'll be too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry fakers, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patience run there, yeah, nigga OT. Cause they wanna see me down like I'm NCT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me. Say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE. Now excuse me while I get back to PC. HOP ain't used to sleep while your third eye always on me. I'm stacking green just to feed the team. My boo, she know that I'm king when chasing my dream. These niggas it seems I rip them, trash them, then put on new jeans. Man, see the problem is, man, you know, I keep it 100, man. Yeah, man, like if I got it, then you got it. Yeah, man, but if I don't got it, then I'ma give it. You feel me? But I definitely got you through the ride, man. Let's get it, yo.
I'm really getting tired of ungrateful ass niggas. They really about to turn me to a hateful ass nigga. Like I was never there when you never had figures. Pull triggers for you niggas when you caught up in the trenches. Man, I really don't get it. I don't know what's going on, but I really don't feel it. Niggas really know that I've been there from the beginning, but the more I see niggas side switching, make me wanna bring it closer to the end, and that's why I can't fuck around with these niggas. I'll fuck around with my hoes, cause niggas acting like bitches and hoes acting like.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I thought you was gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. In case you missed it at the top, we are talking the law of compensation. Before we get back into the first way to increase your returns, I want to read a comment here. And this is Liddell Mann Sr. He says, how do you learn from people that don't like and don't know what you are doing change to? Okay, I think you might have missed a word or two, Liddell, in the question. If you can look at your question again and retype it in, that way I can kind of understand exactly what the question is saying, and then I'll get back to it. And thank you for that comment. Miss D. Brown says, hurt people love to hurt other people. Yes, that is very, very true. And often they're not aware that they're hurting other people. You know, it's just like, for instance, the hurt inside of them can have them develop an I don't care attitude. And then that I don't care attitude gets projected on the other people. And then it hurts them because they don't understand why that person is acting like they don't care about their particular situation. When in all reality, it's because of the hurt they're dealing with within themselves. So yeah, great comment. All right.
On that note, I mean, do all hurt people know that they are hurt?
I don't think so. I think because you know they say a lot of hurtful memories can be suppressed, you know, but it still may be getting acted out on in their life, even though they don't actually know it. So yeah, sometimes I don't think they do know. Okay, so let's talk about these 5 ways to increase your returns again. So I'll start with number 1 again. It says, don't spend your time thinking about lack, scarcity, and what you do not have. Instead, spend your time thinking about what you have that you are thankful for. Look at your life and take pleasure in what you already have. Good friends, your home, your work, or your family. Whatever your life is like, whatever you're going through, there is something to be thankful for. Focus on that. By focusing on the good, you attract more good into your life. Easy or difficult?
I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna go with my answer.
Yes, that's what we're looking for.
And I'm gonna go with easy.
Easy? Okay.
Yes.
Because tell me why you would call it easy.
Because I'm so tired of calling it difficult when it's not difficult.
Okay.
It's easy. Like you either want to do it or you don't want to do it. If you want to do it,
bell on that.
Then
That's
it is. Because if you want to do it, then it is easy. If you don't want to do it, that's when it becomes difficult. Mm-hmm. Doing something that you don't want to do, that's what you're going to fight against the entire time. So if you want to be a good person and be nice, be a good person and be nice.
True.
Most people have a problem with being that way because guess what? You don't want to be a good person and you don't want to be nice. That's when it's a task.
Yeah, I definitely didn't find it difficult for myself growing into it. Like as I grew, I try to learn from my mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I never want to be a bad influence or inspiration in anybody's life. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want anybody feeling like dealing with me is some type of difficult task for them. Mm-hmm. No, I can't live like that. So either I just try to be good to you or I don't deal with you at all. You get what I mean?
Yes, and I'm just so sick of hearing like with the folks justifying. A lot of behaviors folks want to justify it because they don't want to accept accountability in things. And I'm tired of giving people that edge to
Yes.
say, oh, well, it's easier said than, no, it's easy.
You can get it done.
Just do it.
Well, I think you hit a magic button there when you said accountability, because that is kind of like the first stage, you know, like you have to face the reality that you are the reason your life is what it is. Now, it's not to say that, you know, we all didn't go through uncontrollable circumstances, because we do know that happens.
Yes.
But usually those uncontrollable circumstances cannot be accredited to your complete dissatisfaction with where you are at or what you're doing, your money, your house, you know, whatever, so forth and so on. So there has to be accountability. And my experience when I learned how to be more accountable for me was that it wasn't negative. It was more freeing for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you're telling me that I'm the reason for my life being the way that it is, and if I'm not happy with my life, to me, that's like ammunition for me to take complete control. You know, because up to that point, I may have been thinking, you know, it's uncontrollable circumstances that put me in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a victim of this, I'm a victim of that. You know, but when you find out, you might not be as much of a victim as you think.
Right.
Right? Okay, so the areas that I'm not a victim, those are the areas I'm going to try to take control of.
Right.
So for me, it was empowering, right? And then it just feels better as a human being to be nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
It feels better.
You just said it.
You know, it does feel better. It's nice to know that, you know, when you, what's the word I'm looking for? When you grow into that stage of your life, people are generally happy to see you when you come around. And for the ones who are not, you just go address them and speak, and you keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, you begin to repel that negative energy. So when someone comes to you like, yeah, you know, such and such saw you, but you notice they didn't speak, I'll say, oh, that's fine. Let me go over there and speak to them real quick.
Absolutely.
And I know what I'm putting in the universe. Y'all can put back what y'all want. I'm putting something good in there so I can get something good back. And then I, you know, quietly go about my business. Because the thing that I find interesting about when people, like, you ever hear people say they don't fool with a certain person, or I don't fool with her, you know, I don't fool with him. I always chuckle inside my head, because I be thinking they never consider that maybe that person don't want to fool with you.
Right.
I'm just saying. You know, like, they speak it as if it's always a one-way street, when you may talk to that other person and tell them, well, you know, such and such don't fool with you. And they may be like, absolutely, that's how I planned it. I don't want them fooling with me. You get what I mean?
Yes.
You just never know.
And that's that's all very understandable. But when you're dealing with the law of attraction and you're dealing with the law of compensation, then you might not want to be that way.
Right.
You might not want to show up at nowhere saying, I don't fool with this person, or I don't do this, or I don't do that.
Right.
You may need to change that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And maybe fool with that person.
Right.
That person could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for.
Could be.
Just remind yourself of that the next time when you're somewhere saying, I don't fool with that person. Just remind yourself of the grudges that you've been holding on to for years and years, or the dislike of somebody that you've been holding on to. Just remind yourself that letting that go could be the breakthrough that you've been waiting for the last 10 to 15 years. Just so you know that little point. That's why I like doing these shows, because people needs to understand that. You know, you need to understand it.
That's a good point. Flattery is the oldest trick in the book, right? So when you flatter people, you're just being nice and you flatter people. Even when those people know that you're purposely flattering them, right? And they know, like, yeah, she's just trying to be nice to me because I'm the one who controls if she gets her next level or whatever. They may know that, right? And whether you're doing it for those reasons or you're doing it because that's just who you are, at the end of the day, that person is still going to credit you for playing the game on that level. If they think you're playing the game. You might not be playing the game. You may honestly be flattering them, right? But let's say they, like I said, they think you're not, you know, so they think you're just running game. But they still will credit you for playing the game. Did you get what I'm saying? You know, even if they may think, yeah, I don't really think she's real. But you know what? just the fact that she was even willing to keep coming and telling me that, you know what I mean, which was good news. I'm gonna play my part with it. And then I've also learned in life, like you can, let me say it the way the old folks used to say it. What is it? You can catch more bees with honey. You know what I mean? Versus, you know, with traps. So when you are nice to people, sweet to people, polite to people, you just never know what that's going to lead to.
Yes.
Someone will mess around and choose you over someone else that may have been much more qualified, but they didn't like their attitude. You're somewhat qualified, but your attitude is the best, and that's what they want in their environment. Not necessarily the person who knows all the technicalities, but then no one likes to conversate with them or be around them. They'd rather have somebody that we can teach them the technicalities. We can't teach you how to be a pleasant person. So it really will get you further in life when you are more pleasant.
Very true. And I'll take it a step further with the law of compensation, which you just mentioned earlier. When you're complimenting somebody and you're like, you're very beautiful. When you said it could be a person just, whatever, playing the game. First, I'm going to say, it still was something positive versus something negative coming out your mouth. Second, I'm going to say, hey, it could be the law of compensation. That's how you could go around complimenting people, played the game your whole life. This is how it's coming back to you. Either way, you know, something came out of your mouth that was positive versus negative. Because in the same breath you took to say those shoes look nice on you, you still could have said those are ugly shoes I've ever seen. Which one sounds better? Just use common sense here.
Or not saying nothing at all. There are people who would like the shoes, but they're just not going to tell you that because they don't want to. You know, like I've heard people say before, you know, they'd be like, oh, well, I really liked what he had on or what she had on. And then it's like, oh, well, did you tell him? It's like, no, I'm not trying to gas her head up. You know what I mean? You know, fill his tank up or whatever. And it's like, well, why not? I mean, I want somebody to fill my tank up.
Hey, look, how many times have you been to an event, right? And after the event, you could talk to somebody. You could talk to somebody else who was there. And the first thing somebody might say to you is, what didn't transpire? Like, yeah, it would have been better if this would have, instead of saying like all the wonderful things that just happened that you both were just a part of.
Miss Janice, you on fire today.
Instead of just saying that little bit right there of positivity that could help your day or your week be a fantastic week, you went with the opposite of saying something negative. Like, are we
order up?
Like seriously. So these are the things that you have to be thinking about. So when they say law of compensation, when they say it's just not money, it's thoughts and everything. Like these are the things that you have to have on your mind when you open your mouth.
True, that's a very good point. I've experienced that many a times. Like you said, it could be an event. You know what I mean? So say you had 10 things happen at this event. And of the 10 things, one of them was a particular speaker on, you know, I don't know, health issues, right? And again, you run into another person like, hey, how did you like the event? Oh, it was nice, but I really didn't like the speaker who spoke on the health issues.
Yeah, everything.
And you're thinking, okay, so that's one of the 10 things. The other 10 things were great. The other 9 things, you just want to talk about the thing that you didn't like. So that's a very valid point. Very, very valid point. And that does speak to that person's vibe, for lack of better words, you know, their vibe, right? And that would be them focusing on the lack of scarcity, lack or scarcity, I should say, you know, what didn't go right versus focusing on what it says here, which is what did go right, what you should be thankful for.
Yes.
You know, everybody, it was a great event. You know, this happened, that happened. People met, networked, sold things, so forth and so on.
I was happy to be there.
Like, yeah, but I just didn't like the speaker. So you got to be careful with those kind of people. So that was a very valid point. So anyway, so number one was if you want to increase your returns in your life. And when we say returns, we're not just talking monetary. We're talking returns in friendship, returns in relationship, returns in love, returns in money, right? Returns in spiritual guidance, all this stuff. You have to focus on the good and not what you don't have. And then you have to be thankful, even in the midst of not feeling like you should really have to feel thankful for something.
Absolutely, and especially
it doesn't have to be a crisis, is what I'm getting at.
Right, and especially on one you just said, like relationships. That's always a big one because you hear most people when they speak of somebody else's relationship or maybe even their own. It's always about the negative. What she don't do, what he don't do. Like, what about all the things? Like, start naming all the things that this person do good instead of versus the things that they don't do well. It could be 2 things that they don't do well, but 100 things that they do good. True. But we are focusing on these 2 things that a person don't do well. Well, maybe if you focus on these 100 things that they do well and praise them for that, those 2 things might be something that they can get over versus if it's something they hear every single day when they know that they are trying as hard as they can and you keep bumping their heads with these 2 things that they can't get right. That helps hold a person back.
Yes.
Just the thoughts. Just the mind. Like, you're messing with the mind. You're messing with the thoughts. Thing. Like, let's come on. Like, this is not hard. Like, stop making it difficult.
Yeah. We definitely do make certain things in our life more difficult on ourselves. So I agree. Like I said, you're on fire today, Miss Janice. Let me give a bell for Miss Janice. Co-host is rocking today, right? So I'll read another comment here. So again, this is Gary Brown. He says, I've recently dealt with a situation where I feel the person has been hurt through many experiences, which causes us to bump heads continuously. Well, I had no problem admitting or disclosing my shortcomings, even if they pointed out something, but they stayed in denial about themselves, never focusing on themselves, which I found myself becoming bitter towards them. Couldn't find a reason or common ground, so I lost this relationship. I battle with that decision. Oh, absolutely. I understand, brother. And the fact, like you said, you are able to face that reality is kind of the beginning of you getting your perspective of that decision, where you forgive yourself, that person, so forth and so on. So great comment, man. We love this. And for everybody else that's in the audience today, feel free to comment, so we can get your perspective on the law of compensation, if this has applied in your life, if you remember stories, so forth and so on. So Gary Brown, thank you for that comment. And we are up on break again. Stay with us. It's the Black by the Man radio show. We are talking the law of compensation. We'll be back. Great comment.
I thought you were going to have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is, 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is like I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred. You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught. Point blank, period.
Straight up.
My daughter came home and told me that her white teacher was black. Maybe it's because it's how she treated us. She don't see any color. But when it comes to all her friends, all her friends are mixed. All of her friends have a white parent, black, African, Hispanic, other parent. So children don't see color. You breed your children. Not breed. You raise your children to see that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They don't see racism.
Well, I guess
I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of 2 kids. And it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of 2 kids, and you put it in front of a kid, and you ask them which one is the nice one.
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. We're talking the law of compensation today. So we're going over 5 ways to increase your returns through the law of compensation. And when we say returns, we're not just talking monetary. That is one of them, though. But we're also talking relationships, friendships, love, spirituality, how to increase your returns. All right, so let's move on to number 2. So number 2 says, when taking on a task, do your very best, whatever that task may be. By doing and being better, you draw bigger and better things to yourself. The only way to increase your potential for compensation is to continuously strive to increase your potential in all that you do. All right, so this is a long way of saying, be your best, do your best. You know, like, don't half-ass it.
I like that.
You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to get those kind of results. You gotta be your best.
I like that.
At all time, you know. So what I find to be challenging about being my best is when someone is tempting me, you know, or what a lot of people say, pushing your buttons, right? I particularly don't believe in the statement, that person pushed my buttons, because I've taken a class before that spoke on the whole, you know, pushing your buttons things. So I'll tell you what I learned. What I learned was that no one can push your buttons. What they can do is make you push your own buttons, because they don't really know what your buttons are, right?
Yes.
They may have an assumption of what they can say or do that's going to kind of get you riled up, right?
Yes.
But the reality is, what they're really doing is making you push your button, right? Now, let me tell you how I learned this the hard way in my younger years. Someone so-called pushing my buttons, right? And then I do something, you know, violent, right? Get into a fight, whatever. Every time I went to court, that's when the judge made me realize that it was me who pushed my buttons, right? Because the person wasn't getting in trouble. I was getting in trouble, right? And I got sick of going to court and hearing a judge say to me, well, you had a choice. You know, choice. That's all I kept hearing, right? Until it sunk in as a young guy, like, you know what? I get what they're saying. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to say that. I didn't have to react that way. You know, easier said than done, but at least that was the beginning of me realizing no one's pushing your buttons. They may have convinced you to push your own buttons, right? Because you control your reaction to what someone's doing. So they say life is what? 10% what happens to you and 90% reaction.
I love it. I love it because I agree. Like, people can't push your buttons. They can, however, encourage you to push your own buttons.
Absolutely.
Because think about it. Like, in life, like when you're on fire, like when your life is going well, like say your finances is like booming, and say this part of your life is booming, and then but it happens more often than you realize when you get on the roll with life, but you hang on to some negativity. See, that hurts you. When everything is booming, you have to go with it. Stay with the boom. Go with the good stuff. Put all this negative stuff to the side. Come back to it. Deal with it. Don't let it cut into what's going good for you. Like, keep everything going good. Like, you're in charge of that.
You're in charge.
Law of compensation. Like, you're in charge of this. Take control of it.
Take control.
Like, get that negative stuff. And that's why you have to, everything that comes out of your mouth have to stay positive. Everything you're doing has to stay positive. Like, if you get on the track, ride it for a while.
Yeah, ride it and keep learning. To me, that's the biggest thing.
Hang on to it for a while. Like, but there's going to be some negatives that's going to be right there, encouraging you to push those negative buttons.
Yes, they're going to try you. That's where we get the phrase such and such tried me, or you know, he tried to come for me. You know, she tried to come for me. Right.
Yeah.
So right then and there, you are halfway acknowledging that you're going to react to this, right? Because it ain't most people that say, yeah, she tried to come for me, and then that's it. It's always a part two, you know. It's like, yeah, she tried to come for me.
Yeah, but
I was ready, right? So when she did this, I did that. You know what I mean? I said this, said that. You know, so, you know.
And guess what? And that but got you in trouble.
Absolutely.
And now,
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm
your
getting at.
boom done turned into a bang, what?
Yes.
A disaster.
A disaster.
So.
A disaster. So you got to try to do your best. And again, it's easier said than done. And I'll speak for myself and Miss Janice. We're not masters of this. You know, we're learning this with y'all and trying to evolve and keep practicing it, because this does take practice. Like, I got better and better the more I practice it. It's just like anything else. I got better and better. And I still got to grow. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I get that mindset too. I'm ready to.
Hey, you want to grow with the BBD show. Because I'm going to tell you, the last 2 years, I've been riding the BBD train. I've been riding it hard. Woo-hoo! And it's been like boom, boom, boom for me. Like, I'm going to ride that train and stay with the boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to get a disaster out of this. Like, you getting too much information. Like, we're giving you too much to not stay on that. Like, fire road. Like, right. When you on fire, stay on fire. Like, stay
you
with
can
it.
Always refer back to one of the episodes of the BBD radio show. You can catch us online anytime if you don't catch a live show. Believe it or not, we go back and review the shows. we go back and review the shows to try to see what we can do better. We can respond better, and then, you know, also take in the lessons that we was actually teaching on that particular day, because again, like everything else in life, these things have to be repetitive, right? You know, like, so you may learn some good stuff watching this show, reading a book or something else, but if you're not continuously pushing it into your mind, it will leave as quick as it came. And this is why society itself pays so much money for advertising. You know what I mean? Because they got to keep pushing that into your mind. You got to keep seeing Nike. You got to keep seeing Coca-Cola, right? In order for you to go buy Nikes and buy Coca-Cola.
Yes.
So it's the same with when you're dealing with positive information. You got to keep pumping it into you.
You have to keep pumping it into you. And if you have anything that's around you that's not going to feed pumping it into you, then get it away from you.
Yes.
Not good.
Because the reality is, whatever that is around you is pumping something else into your mind. You get what I mean? It's putting something else in there. So we got to try to do our best in order to get the best coming back to us. You know, do your very best. All right, so we got 1 minute before our next break. So let me just touch on the third one real quick. I'll just read it, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll have a discussion about it.
Okay.
All right, so number 3 is pay your bills with a grateful heart. Ooh. Pay your bills with a grateful heart. I'll keep reading though, right? Do not begrudge them or try like mad to hold on to the last dollar. If you pay your bills with a thankful heart and spend your money without fear or worry, then the universe will provide more. Once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of supply. Okay. I was trying to figure out where they was going with that one. All right, so I'm gonna read that again. Pay your bills with a grateful heart. Do not begrudge them or try like mad to hold on to the last dollar. If you pay your bills with a thankful heart and spend your money without fear or worry, then the universe will provide more. Once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of the supply.
That is true, everybody.
That is interesting. So we
true.
definitely going to have to talk about that after the break. Stay with us. It's the Black Body Man radio show. We are talking law of compensation. We shall return.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go. Nigga, chose
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange radio show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response? And I guess when I had to meet with that said person who had the issue with the person who was said leader of that organization, I said, well, to that person, how would I have known that? Well, you should have asked.
I think so. You want my opinion?
It was a circle, and I was willing to go on that merry-go-round.
You are better than most.
Yeah.
I think that's normal when you're in a group and there's norming. Most of the time when you're in new work environments or you're in a space where you're getting to know people, it's normal now to ask for people's preferred pronouns. You wouldn't have known that.
Normal to who? What is normal?
Well, you work in social... You work
I don't
in social
feel the
innovation
need to give
and
my pronouns, so it's not normal to me.
You don't, but I think because I feel like the person was probably offended because they felt like you were not honoring whoever they are, right? But you wouldn't have known that.
Still to this moment, I don't know what their pronouns are.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the BBD radio show. We are talking the law of compensation. So we went over the actual law at the top of the show in the first half. Now we are getting into how to increase your returns through the law of compensation. So we were on number 3. We actually have 5 of them. So let me read number 3 again. So number 3 says, pay your bills with a grateful heart. Do not begrudge them or try like mad to hold on to the last dollar. If you pay your bills with a thankful heart and spend your money without fear or worry, then the universe will provide more. Once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of the supply. So what's your take on that? Pay your bills with a grateful heart.
Yeah, because the more you pay with an ungrateful heart, the more you get irritated about paying bills. Like how would that ever leave? Like, you're going to stay irritated with paying bills. You're going to stay not wanting to pay them. But the more you pay them with a cheerful heart, and the more you pay them gladly, you're going to realize, like what am I upset? What am I upset about? I have plenty of money to pay these bills. These bills don't affect me, and it doesn't affect my pocket.
I think that's what most of us are upset about, that we don't have plenty of money to pay these bills.
But when you pay them, you will find out that you do have plenty of money to pay them bills. Okay. The only thing that's making you believe and think that is your own attitude of getting mad every time you need to pay a bill.
Well, yeah, that, and then having $16 left in your account.
No. The $16 that you have in your account is just because of all the money you spent before you paid that bill. Pay it first, and you will see all the money you have left.
And I have $17 for the record. So let me throw that out there.
No, but seriously, the more you pay them gratefully, you will see that you actually do have enough money. To pay these bills.
When I think about this, I think we do all experience this, right? And this is when I think we experience it. When you short on the bill, right? So you short on the bill and say it's BGE, right? And BGE's like, hey, if you don't have it by 3 o'clock, we're cutting it off, right? And you short, and then you somehow come up with the rest of the money. Whether you found some money on your credit card, or you realize you forgot you had another account that you hadn't touched in a while, or someone just loans you the money. It's at that moment that you are grateful to pay that bill. You get what I'm saying? Because you was up against losing something, your cable, your cell phone, your electricity. So then when you pay that, it's like, oh, yeah, I paid that. I got that taken care of. So that's what I tend to be grateful about paying it.
And I'll take it a step further. Take back those $300 pair of shoes you bought before you paid BG&E, and you still be able to pay BG&E. If you're trying to come up with the money, you still have something in the closet, in the bag that you haven't
getting into money management now.
Take that back and pay the bill.
Take it back.
Stop playing. We have enough money to pay these bills.
At least the average bills.
The average bills.
Kind of
you have enough to pay the average bill. bills to sustain yourself.
Where you
it's
are.
just what you do with the money first. But if you start paying the bill, if you get the money and be like, I'm pay this bill, get out the way, like, it's going to make you feel better about
So
paying
the lesson
bills.
is, once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of supplies. You have to release money cheerfully. So that's the whole message for number 3, with how to increase your returns.
Yeah, think about it. When you don't release it cheerfully, it's like you still putting, like, in the law of compensation, like, you feel like you're never going to get this money back. Hey, this money is going to be rolling right back to you. So release it.
It does come back to you. That's
Release
what
it with
enables us
ease.
to pay it again the following month.
So just
it does come back.
release it with ease.
True. It's amazing how, like, our attitude towards things affects so many different things. Like, I remember years ago learning about if you eat while you're angry. Like, it's a whole different digestive process that happens if you eat food while you're angry.
I can imagine.
I never knew that. You know what I'm saying to me? But, like, it's a whole different strain on the body to process the food, so forth and so on. That's why a lot of times when people, they might have been starving and then they had somebody bring them some bad news, or they had a little spit spat with somebody, next thing you know, they're like, you know what, I'm not even hungry now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even eat right now. I'm so mad, you know, I can't eat. So, like, that kind of explained that. So, same deal, you know, with, you know, paying your bills. Like, you'd be surprised how much your attitude can play a part in it, according to the law of compensation. So I will try to work on that. 'Cause I know I'm grateful when I'm falling short and then I finally get it. That's my most grateful moment right there. Like, whoo, 239. They almost got me.
And, I mean, just a person that just speaks by experience in a lot of this law, because we've done these shows before, law of attraction, compensations, different types of laws, and like I said, when we do the shows, a lot of stuff we learn from the shows. We either put it in use or we don't. A lot of these shows that we do, a lot of this information I put in use. I did.
Oh, that's good.
I put in use. It works for me. It works out great. And like I just can't wait to learn.
It's definitely good information.
What the next show is going to bring.
You know, it's good information. I don't make up the information. You know, it's all about research. So it's other professionals who come forward with this knowledge. You know what I mean? I just tend to share it, bring it forward, and you know, work on it myself. So yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful.
All right, so let's move on to number 4 to increase your returns. So number 4 says, if you have attracted something unpleasant, then learn from it and set it free. Do not dwell on it, or you will bring more of it to you. Look hard at the cause of this unpleasantness, learn from your mistakes, and change it when it needs to be changed. But do not hold on to the unpleasantness. It has happened. You cannot change it, but you can keep it from repeating itself. Okay, very nice. Very nice. So let's break this one down.
Okay.
Start with the first part. If you have attracted something unpleasant, then learn from it and set it free. Easier said than done, or easier done than said?
I mean, again, you want my answer?
Yes. Set it. Learn from it and set it free.
I say it's easy.
You say it's easy? I think it can become easy. I think in the beginning it may not be, because people do hold grudges. You understand what I'm saying?
I think
I could see that being a challenge for somebody.
Wait, okay. I think it's, as an adult, going through life experiences and things of that nature, it's easy. Now, if we're still in our millennium days where we've learned absolutely nothing, then yeah, it's difficult at that point. You don't know enough to do enough about it. But at a certain time and age in your life, like, come on, you can't keep hanging on to, I need time. Like, how much time do you need the rest of your life? Seriously.
Get over yourself,
like,
right?
seriously, at some point, it just becomes.
Like, still talking about that?
Yes.
Good grief.
So that's why I don't. Come on, I don't. It's not hard, guys.
So I'm guessing, right? But I'm imagining that. Okay, it says you experienced something unpleasant. I'm imagining that the level of hurt that you felt from that unpleasantness is going to kind of be a measuring stick of how difficult or not difficult it would be for you to let it go and move on.
Did it kill you?
No.
Okay, so it's not difficult.
Okay.
To let it go.
And I get what you're saying, because they do say what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. But I can see that would be the challenge of how hurt you was. Because if you're not as hurt by it, then it's probably easier to let it go. Versus if you was like, really hurt by it, it'd probably take a little bit. But whatever it may be, whether you can do this immediately or it takes you 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, at some point, you're still going to have to do this. You're going to have to learn from it and then set it free.
Still, I think it's whatever you tell yourself. It's whatever you tell your mind or your thought to do.
True.
If you tell your mind or your thought that you want to hang on to this for 2 years, then you will. But at the end of the day, if you really evaluate this situation, come on.
Let me throw a little monkey wrench in there.
Throw a monkey wrench in.
So what about when you have other people that are feeding your grudge? You know what I mean? You ever had situations where you're talking to somebody and you might say, yeah, I don't say nothing to that person no more because of what they did. And they're like, oh yeah, I remember you told me that. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to her either. I wouldn't say nothing to her either. See, so there are times when people feed your negativity, and kind of confirm to you, you're on the right track. I wouldn't do this either, and I wouldn't give her the time of day, and blah, blah, blah. Like, people will feed your negative grudge. So do you think that plays a part in people holding on and not setting it free because they're literally around people who won't let them set it free? And then part B, I'm going to say, the fear of how those people who didn't want you to just forgive that person is now going to look at you and deal with you if you do. People will be like, I can't believe you talked to him again. I can't believe you talked to her again after he did that or she said that. You get what I mean? Does all this play a part?
I think it plays a part with you finding some type of way to justify why you keep holding on to this. I think that's what it plays a part in it. I think mostly, I believe if you're holding on to something, mainly I believe you're holding on to it is because it's just something you want to do. When people come and confirm that, I think it just helps you have a reason to hold on to that, to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, when the person know that this person isn't right, but if you can use this to help, justify why you're holding on to it, then why not? Because even kids, and I mean children, kids, they have grudges and strifes with each other all the time. But what? By the end of the week, what? They find a way to solve it, resolve it, and let it go.
That's a good point.
Who are the ones who hangs on to these things and keep these things going?
Grown folks.
Adults. You're telling me that the kids know more than we do? Seriously.
That's a very valid point.
Children figures this out.
Children do get by.
So there's no way you telling me as an adult,
right,
you can't figure this out. You hold on to these things because you want to.
Yeah.
And whatever your reasons are, that's what your reasons are. But you're not going to tell me because of what they did, it took this long to get over it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I definitely did not think of that. You're right. Kids do get into everything from fist fights to slander, and they tend to get by.
To taking each other's girlfriends and boys. They get into all of it. But by the end of the week, it's resolved, it's taken care of, and it's over. Adults.
Well, they say don't dwell on it, or you will bring more of it to you.
Adults, and that's what they do, dwell on it and just bring more and more.
That's what it says.
And that's the law of compensation, because if this not just continuing the cycle for years and years and years of how you handling things and certain behaviors that you're using, I don't know what is.
It says, look hard at the cause of this unpleasantness, learn from your mistakes, and change when it needs to be changed, but do not hold on to the unpleasantness.
And I think that's a key part where it said look hard and change what needs to be changed.
True.
If this was a situation of somebody you felt like they really, like you really can't get over it, learn from it. Let it go. If the person got to go, let the person go. But don't keep the person still at a limbs, and then still hang on to this, and then still hold this over this person's head forever. Let the person go. Like if it was a friend that betrayed you and you feel like it's just something that you can, just let the whole person go with the situation and then move forward.
Yeah, it's saying let it go. Don't hold on to it. Just learn from it. And you know, it's evident that it's very powerful when people do let stuff go. Have you ever seen two people who, you know, like, you know, they had a situation going on and they let this thing go out for years where they weren't talking to each other, and then you just happened to be there at the particular event or gathering and you saw them talking, and then both of them end up crying. That's how long they was holding on to that pain, to that hurt, you know. And then finally one says, hey, listen, I'm so glad you're here. I've been meaning to talk to you. I apologize for what I said to you 3 years ago. I was wrong. It wasn't my business, so forth and so on. And then that other person will break down and start crying, which then causes the person who's apologizing to cry. And it's a beautiful moment when you see it. But it also shows just how much people like hold on to that hurt, you know. And I remember years ago, Oprah, I mentioned this before, where she talked about how, you know, people are walking around having a grudge or a certain attitude towards a certain person because of what they did to them, and you don't even know that person has completely forgotten about that they even did that to you. You know what I'm saying? They released it, even though they was the one in the wrong.
That's the person that let it go.
They released it, you know what I mean? And you, the person who was hurt, you still held on to it. And so they basically been living their life, and your life really has been on pause.
Because,
you know what I mean?
Yes. Because another thing we have to realize too is that, you know, we are people who makes mistakes and do things sometimes that may not be quite right. But the first thing in life is, like, we have to learn to forgive ourselves. Like, this is not something I'm going to hang on to. Like, once you apologize to that person or whatever, you're letting it go. Like, I can't beat myself up about something I did 10 years ago, because now that's going to hold up your growth.
Yes, it
is.
is.
From you getting in life what you need to get out of life or whatever. So you have to forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, if this person just don't have it in them, which I don't understand why they don't. If the person don't have it in them to forgive you, then let that person live with it, because that's going to carry a whole nother life for them. So, I mean,
I'm say it again, Miss Janice is on fire today.
Yeah, because
you woke up on the right side of the bed.
No, but when we're talking about this, like, I'm so tired of letting grown folks off the hook for these behaviors. We keep letting grown folks off the hook for their behavior, and that's enough. Like, enough is enough. We're starting to pass this down now to our kids. I'm looking at our kids now getting mad at each other for things that adults are doing, and it's starting to really get to me. So now we have to stop letting adults off the hook for things, like, and
I get what you're
make
saying.
them be accountable for their actions and the things that they're doing, and just, like, I'm not going to keep saying, like, it's harder, but it's easier said than done. No, it's easy. Just do it. And that's it.
I'll read a comment here. This is Miss D. Brown. How you doing, Miss Brown? Thanks for joining us again today.
Hi, Miss Brown.
She says everyone was raised different, and some adults in their 40s and 50s and older can be stuck in the pattern of the way they were raised in it. You know, seem like age should make a difference. A lot of times this is far from the truth, mainly in relationships. Yes, I agree. It does. I agree with you. Age should make a difference, and that's what makes it so sad. Like you said, adults in their 40s and 50s, and they still hold on to, you know, their funky ways, for a lack of better words, right? Instead of showing growth. Because the whole thing with life is we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be better in your 20s than you was as a teenager. Better in your 30s than you was in your 20s. Better in your 40s than you was in your 30s. Like, you're supposed to keep evolving. And she's right. A lot of people don't. They just tend to stay in that zone. And it goes back to something we had mentioned before about some people's comfort zone is the drama zone. That's where they're comfortable at. They're actually uncomfortable in the peace zone. Their comfort is the drama zone. This is where they thrive at. This is where they feel they do well at, you know, versus being in the peace zone. I think it's a little boring to them. It's a little boring. It's a little too fairy tale-ish, so forth and so on.
See, a lot of things I could buy, really. a lot of things I could buy if you give me something legitimate to buy it by. And I say that meaning, like a lot of us walk around like we can't forgive certain things or whatever. There are so many different cultures that have done things to us that we have straight forgiven people for. And at the end of the day, you're telling me that you can't forgive somebody for I don't even know what. Right, but you telling me
we get on TV and forgive them for murder.
I'm telling you, it's about it's about who you want to forgive and who you don't. So I can't buy when people say easier said. I can't buy that because I watch people forgive people all the time.
Yeah, they do. All right, well look, we gotta take our break. Like I said, Miss Janice is on fire today, but this is lovely, right? Stay with us. We'll be back. It's the Brag By the Man radio show. We're gonna wrap it up with number 5 and go ahead and wrap this show up. We'll be back.
People are out here straight.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'ma show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way.
Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated baby sitting with a passion.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the Black By the Man radio show. In case you missed the show today, today's show was one of the universal laws. We went over the law of compensation, and it's been a really good show. I think, Miss Janice really added some points to this that wasn't necessarily thought of during the conversation. So thank you for that. There was very valid points. So we were finishing up with the 5 things you can do to increase your returns through the law of compensation. So we was on number 4, which dealt with if you have attracted something unpleasant, then learn from it and set it free. It has happened. You cannot change it, but you can keep it from repeating itself. So you got to learn to set certain things free and not dwell on it. And, like you said, we tend to do well as a community of people forgiving other people for the things that they do to us. We're willing to get on TV and be on the news and forgive everybody for everything. But then those same people may not be so forgiving of their friends, of their family, of their coworkers. They're holding grudges against them. But then someone who murdered their niece, somehow they found forgiveness. So that was a very valid point when you brought that up, and hopefully we can learn from all that. So let's just wrap up number 5. So number 5 of the 5 reasons to increase your returns is continue to learn, grow, and improve. The only way to get more is to give and become more. So I like that for the wrap up.
Me too. Me too.
I feel like, within our society, we are kind of conditioned to not keep learning. Like I said, whether you went to college or you didn't, but once you get that job and you're making that money and you're in life and you're paying your bills, taking care of your kids, like a lot of people really don't continue to learn anything in particular, and that can be that could be something that can hold you back from growing. You know, like learning, you don't want learning to only be triggered by someone telling you have to learn this. It should be triggered also by you wanting to improve yourself and become a better person, you know, and use the law of compensation to your benefit by putting out good so that way you get back good, because that's it in a nutshell. It's amazing how these type of sayings have always been within the black community. You know, like everybody black got parents or grandparents to say, you know, you put out good, you get back good. You know, you put out bad, you get back bad. Well, they were actually really giving us good advice. You know what I mean? But as far as how we live up to it, what I have found is I've been around people that take pleasure in like being not necessarily bad, but like slick. You understand what I mean? Like if they feel someone did something they didn't like, you know, they're going to be slick about getting them back. Like, that's okay. She don't know. Wait till Thursday when what's his face coming. I'm a put in his head that she was the one, you know. But, you know, and I watched this whole plot unfold, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there looking at the person like, man, that's a lot of wasted energy right there. You know what I mean? Like, somebody didn't do you right. Just, you know, let it go. You know what I mean? Let it go and let them deal with what the law of compensation is going to return to them. Yes. Because it's applicable to everyone, you know? So it'll return it for them. So, yeah, so that's going to do it. You know, the law of compensation. I hope everybody enjoyed this show. Big thank you to everybody who participated today. We always love you guys' comments. We'll answer any questions that we can. And let's see here. Yep, that's it. That's it. I'm just double checking. So, yeah, that's it. So, law of compensation. And again, if you missed the show, I'll give you the definition again. It's one of the 12 laws that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put into the universe. It's basically the law of cause and effect. So whatever you feel you're not getting right in your life ain't coming back to you, you have to sit down and evaluate what are you putting out. You know what I mean? If you want more, you got to put out more. So that is it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll read our last comment here. Miss D. Brown says, I really look forward to Monday's BBD class. Have a wonderful, safe week, Brother Mike and Queen Sister Janice. Thank you, Miss D. Brown, as always. She's one of our #1 fans and one of our favorites. We appreciate you.
Yes.
So how'd you like the show?
I love the show. I just want to say one last thing. You're never too young or too old to learn.
Absolutely.
You tune in on Mondays with us, and let's
learn together.
Yes, learn together. Let's evolve together.
That's what's up. So on behalf of the Black by the Man team, as well as my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice, I'm your boy, Brother Mike. We'll be back next Monday. I'll catch you on the flip side, baby. That's the black side. Peace.
Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And exactly. Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I